Homeless fast food employee is taken aback by customer's unusual request. It had already been a pretty tough year for Malcolm Coleman. Having suffered the loss of both of his older sisters, Malcolm's father passed away in 2018, leaving him as the sole means of support and income for his aging mother. To make ends meet, Malcolm spent his days and nights working at the Wendy's on the University of South Carolina campus. But even with 15 years in the fast food industry, this line of work never got any easier for Malcolm. Working in fast food isn't easy. It's grueling, stressful, anxiety-filled, Malcolm shared on Facebook. And a lot of the time you feel like your work ethic is in vain. All of the things that you bring to the table are taken for granted. And sometimes you feel completely disregarded as a person. Still, Malcolm made it a point to approach each day with positivity, greeting each customer with a smile and an infectious can-do spirit. But in early 2019, Malcolm's optimism was put to the test like never before. On January 24, Malcolm's birthday, no less, an electrical fire broke out in the small home he shared with his mother. Though the pair was able to escape unscathed, the blaze had rendered the house completely uninhabitable. To make matters worse, the insurance on the house had lapsed, leaving Malcolm and his mother unable to pay for repairs. The family of two was forced to begin couch hopping between friends and family until Malcolm could save up. It was just crazy and overwhelming, and it still just shakes me up sometimes, Malcolm recalled of the ordeal to USC's student newspaper The Daily Gamecock. It's kind of opened up old stuff because, you know, I wish my sisters were here to help us cope and deal with this situation. But even in the face of adversity, Malcolm was still committed to treating his customers with the same kindness he hoped to receive. And though many patrons simply took their food and left, others, like business student Robert Calderoni, were touched by Malcolm's friendliness. Walking into Wendy's, you'll hear Malcolm just calling people by name in line before they even order and kind of talking with them. He has this really strange ability to, if he talks to you twice, he'll remember your name and your order, which is just really special, Robert said. In fact, over the years Malcolm had become somewhat of a local celebrity amongst those at USC, his larger-than-life personality a welcome pick-me-up for many overstressed students. But as Malcolm's struggles became known, many began to wonder how he could remain so positive in such difficult circumstances. He's always smiling and laughing, which is admirable when the tough situation he is in is taken into account, explained Robert, who didn't learn of Malcolm's struggles until February 2020. But this got him thinking, was there anything he could do now to repay Malcolm's years of kindness? On his own, he knew there wasn't much he could do to change Malcolm's luck, though after talking it through with members of his business fraternity, Robert had a breakthrough. Together, he and his classmates decided to put out an unusual request to the people of South Carolina. Through a GoFundMe campaign, Robert and his friends hoped to raise $75,000 to help Malcolm and his mother return home. It was a tall task, for sure, but Robert knew his efforts would be worth it to help someone who brought so much joy to so many. And sure enough, donations came pouring in as soon as the campaign went live. But Robert knew he couldn't just keep this good news to himself, it was his turn to make Malcolm's day. Walking into the Wendy's that afternoon, Robert was greeted on site by Malcolm, who immediately set to work making his usual order. But when Robert approached the counter, he met Malcolm's smile with an even bigger one. He revealed his plan then and there, taking Malcolm completely by surprise and sending tears of joy streaming down the veteran fast food worker's face. But even in his moment of utter joy, Malcolm still couldn't stop himself from pouring Robert a chocolate frosty, just as he'd done countless times before. But the good news didn't stop there, as word of Robert's campaign soon spread across the country. As of March 24, the GoFundMe page for Malcolm's repair bills had collected more than $45,000 in donations. After our fundraiser really started to take off this week, Malcolm has been in very high spirits and is still very much in a state of shock, Robert shared. To see our community and country come behind him like this has been nothing short of inspirational. As for Malcolm, he's still working the 5 to 2 shift at the Wendy's on Green Street as each day he inches ever closer to returning home. Life's still no walk in the park, but to know that so many people are rooting for him is what keeps Malcolm going. Thank you all ever so much for loving me and for valuing all that I do, Malcolm wrote on Facebook. People like you, Rob, the rest of the students at USC, and my other customers, my peeps, remind me that it's a bigger picture and to keep being me.